You probably will not believe this. I didn't. Sometimes when you hang around with pros and experts and you ask them questions, you get unexpected, shocking connections that are just mind-blowing. Poof. So, Mark Brown and I were doing a podcast 2 days ago, recording a podcast with Captain Charlie Plum. Hey there, Captain Charlie Plum. If you haven't heard his story, look him up on TEDx or just look him up, Captain Charlie Plum. He was a POW. If you've never heard his keynote, seriously, you've got to watch it. Just powerful, powerful, powerful. But near the end of good morning, Fadwa, good morning. So near the end of the podcast, Mark and I were wrapping it up, and Captain Plum talked about when he was a POW. So he's a prisoner of war in Vietnam, and he got shot down. And that's what his story's about. But what shocked Mark and I, and if you're a Toastmaster, this will probably be an eye-opener, shocking, that when he was a POW, there were some other POWs. So his, hey Lorraine, his cell was right next to John McCain's cell. And John McCain was actually his flight instructor. But the shocking part to Mark and me was there were some other prisoners of war who were, let's say, former Toastmasters. Yes, Denise, exactly correct. They were former Toastmasters, some of the POWs. So they actually had a Toastmasters, they started a Toastmasters club in the Hanoi Hilton, if you've heard of that, which was a prisoner of war camp for a while, where they kept some of the prisoners. So they actually had a Toastmasters club in a POW camp, which that's crazy. Well, Captain Plum actually gave his icebreaker at that club, and it's pretty funny that he had the presence of mind in that situation. And in the podcast, he actually tells us his icebreaker, which that is incredible. He tells us his icebreaker speech, and the presence of mind that he had where he was at when he gave it is shocking. So I encourage you, go listen to it on the podcast. Just look up Unforgettable Presentations, whatever podcast platform you listen to, and it's about 45 minutes in if you don't have time to listen to the whole podcast. But I really think you'd get a lot out of listening to the whole podcast when we sat down with a literal legend to the legends. So please go check that out. I think you'll love it, especially if you're a Toastmaster, knowing the deep impact Toastmasters had on people's lives, no matter what their situation. So go check that out. Check out the podcast. And it's episode 83, I think. It's 83 or 82, 83 or 84. Anyway, the title of it is The Unforgettable Captain Charlie Plum. So go check that out. And thank you, Denise, for putting that on there. I appreciate it. But go check out the podcast so you can hear his icebreaker story for my Toastmaster friends. That's all for today. From the road in Boston, I will see you tomorrow.